Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's a very special Dork Forest here in Atlanta, Georgia. Here in my hotel, the Indigo. Very boutique-y, very glamorous. Anyway, you know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com if you'd enjoy a determiner. And, Patrick, gonna fix this audio. Again, it's pretty loosey-goosey. I might level it before I send it to him, is what I'm saying. Because, I have been having a hard time traveling with the whole kit, so I'm just going Zoom. Anyway, Patrick Brady, sorry. Hi. You're a lovely man. Okay, and then Mike Rickberg sang the song you just heard with Sarah Cohen, and he'll sing again at the end, and Vilmos fixes the websites. So, that being said, donation button, merch, stand-up shows in your town and in Los Angeles, JackieCation.com. Feel free to donate. I would like $100 from everyone, ever. 7 billion people on the planet. Everyone should give me $100. Okay, sitting in my hotel room with the lovely and talented Sarah Winchester. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
And the lovely and talented William Winchester, is that correct?
Will is fine.
Will?
Yeah, not often referred to as lovely, but
there we go.
I appreciate it.
Sure, what the heck? I'm willing to do it. We're all lovely in audio land.
Lovely people.
I had a manager once who told me I had a face for radio. That's actually not true. I made that up. Okay, so you guys live here in the Atlanta area.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. I'm a southern native. Will's actually a Georgia native. So.
Very specific.
Yes.
Georgia, is that, where are you from in the South? That isn't Georgia.
All over, like Tennessee, Florida, North Carolina.
Northern Florida?
No, Orlando. So,
All right.
I'm a Navy brat.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so all over the place, that kind of way. All right. And then, and you have a podcast.
Yes, I do.
Nerdstorian?
The Nerdstorian podcast. Yes.
And it's about history.
Yes, I have a history degree, and I've been told dork about history since, I don't know how. 5.
Excellent. Is it thenerdstorian.com?
Hopefully this summer it will be. Right now it's nerdstorian.wordpress.com.
Oh, it's a WordPress one?
Yes.
And do you do through Libsyn to get it up on the iTunes?
No, I actually use FeedBurner.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm broke. So,
right,
yeah.
Fair enough. Because your day job is that of a teacher, right?
I'm a high school teacher.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. If we could take your pension away and hand you a weapon, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. It'd be a small weapon because there's not much of a pension.
Right. It'd be I did a show the other night.
I think you would probably get the short end of that trade.
Yeah.
I think that it's that thing where they want to arm the teachers but in Wisconsin they want to take away the pensions.
Oh.
And so all just nobody thinking it through, because you can't arm people that you just took away their pensions. It sounds like a bad life choice.
Again, all the education choices are made by people who aren't educators.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you'd think that the theory is that they have kids and that they'd want to care, but they send all their kids to private schools, so they're not really caring about the walking around kids who aren't going to private schools.
Exactly.
And all right, very glamorous. You enjoy history, so we're probably going to talk about some history.
Yes. Right. I'm seriously a huge
U.S. history.
All over the place. It just depends on what I've noticed and am obsessing about at that moment.
Currently? Is it human history? Is that what you're going to go with?
Pretty much human history, yeah. I can't read that scientific history stuff. There is actually scientific history, and it's like, no.
What is that, just the history of science?
Sort of. It's like, what did the planet look like and before, and how did humans change it? Like,
I took a class for science credit in college called History of the Weather.
Yeah.
And it was, I had to drop it. It was too hard.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I took weather and climate here at Georgia State because I thought it was going to be the easiest science class I could possibly choose.
Right.
And it was.
Oh, it was. A success. Well done, Georgia State.
Yes.
And University of Wisconsin.
Tip for you kids out there.
Yeah, they didn't want... I took that, and I took History of the Weather. I thought it was just what people would be wearing. I genuinely did. Remember, I was 18. And so it turns out it was
I used it when I taught geography to 7th graders to teach about climate. It's like, if it's hot, they wear less. If it's cold, they wear more. They still didn't get it. So
they got nothing. They're 7th graders.
Yes.
What do they know?
Yes.
Has it been the history of white people?
No, lots
Okay.
of places, lots of things. It just, honestly, through college, it was just whatever I was taking at the time.
Rattle off a couple of
gosh.
geographical areas that you enjoyed.
I love learning about the Middle East because
So you're talking Iraq and Iran and Oman and all that stuff.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm kind of sort of heading towards learning about Lebanon because my dad was actually there in the early 80s.
Sure.
And I want to know more, and I can't say any more because, as my dad said, he will kill me.
If
Technically,
does he
quote
live,
unquote.
if you don't have enough information, he'll get mad at you.
No. It's a joke he always said, like, if you tell anybody about this, I will kill you.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, we always joke, too. Oh, it's because Dad is actually working for the CIA. We're not sure if that's actually true or not. So.
I watch a lot of NCIS.
He doesn't. I'm surprised.
Okay, yeah.
I think it makes him nervous.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
he can't watch The Office and he can't watch Navy shows. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could watch that show for days on end. Like
NCIS?
one episode after the other.
And
that and Law and Order, it's like comfort food. You know,
It's
you know
true.
exactly where it's going. It's plotted the same way every single time.
Yeah, Law and Order I don't like so much just because it does the entire process, right? Like it's the cops and then the lawyers and then what? I don't know, the warden? Who's it at the end? Is it
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the story. It's more like putting on like calming ocean sounds when you're going to sleep.
I'll tell you what,
the sounds of whales?
Hey, teaching criminal justice in government classes. Pop one of those episodes on, that's for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, definely.
Oh, because then
And
the
they
kids will...
Yeah, because they'll pay attention and go, oh, I remember that.
Just try to stay away from the semen-y stuff. You should be okay.
Oh, what do you mean? The sex one?
The sex crimes one.
Oh, yeah. SVU is not...
Well, they're teaching government to younger, like, they're ninth graders now instead of seniors.
Okay.
And so you have to... You can't get away with as much.
Which is weird because Law and Order, like the makeup people make everybody look really dead now.
Yeah.
Super dead. And they're like, oh, we don't care. But if you mention their parts, please don't mention their parts. We'd like to pretend that children don't have parts. And you're like, really? Because the kids are talking about their parts to each other a lot. I don't know if you're...
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
What do you do?
I work third shift at a university library.
I am very jealous. No.
That's what you would think. Like, at first, it seems a little strange. And then you think about it a little bit, and you're like, hey, that would be kind of cool. Like, frolicking among the wealth of human knowledge all night long.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
And then when you get there and you do it, and you find out that you were actually right to begin with. It's very strange.
Is anyone there?
It shouldn't be, because it's like the wellspring of dorkdom, you know?
Okay,
the
yeah.
library. It's the original dork hub.
Yeah.
So you'd think, like, you know, all these dedicated students late night having interesting conversations. Absolutely untrue. 99% masturbators.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Just, they've come to the public library, essentially.
They're not
It's
even
a-
students
touch
sometimes.
themselves.
It's a college library. We're publicly funded, so we're open to the community.
Okay.
By community, I mean freaks.
You mean possibly people who don't have anywhere else to go at night?
At about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's the cream of the crop. Really.
Excellent. Who doesn't want to wander in?
Yeah.
I met a nice gentleman last night who, my new theory is that there's guys, you know how like, guys will, it's usually younger men. There's a certain point where it's a finesse thing, where you learn that just yelling, hey! And women will make, initially when you're young enough, will make them stop and go, what? And then you're like, all right, I've made initial contact. And then, how can I somehow get her to sleep with me? And then but it's so, last night there was some guys on the street here in Atlanta that were like, hey! And I was like, no, I'm in my 40s, leave me alone. I will not be responding to hey anymore. And plus I know that we don't know each other. I don't know anybody here. It's all going to work out.
I saw some of that at the train station just a minute ago at 5 Points. You see lots of stuff at the 5 Point station.
Yeah.
But there were some guys yelling at some girls, and they're like, no, no, just kept walking.
That's all really, you got to write a better script than that, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I tell the guy students that too, so it's like,
these college guys at the library, they're just really sexually, I don't know, like, they just haven't quite figured it out yet. Like, I don't understand their obsession with the male genitalia, like their own genitals.
Yeah.
You'll walk into the bathroom, close the stall, turn around, and suddenly
all you.
you're just surrounded by penises. Like,
Right.
one person draws one, and then everybody draws a penis. And it's like some sort of publicly funded community art project of penises. And, like, they don't even draw them well. Like, you spend your whole life looking at this organ. It should be the one thing on Earth that you can draw well.
Yep.
But they fuck it up every time.
Did you ever read Ogloff.com?
No.
Ogloff, it's a web series. Supposedly, though I've yet to, because I bought the book for Andy. It's a dirty web comic, and but it's very funny, and it's set in like a sword and sorcery kind of world.
Yeah.
And she draws a penis very well, and there's always nudity. There's always nudity going on. Every three or four panels, there's some nude dude or nude lady, and there's. And she's got good work. It seems to be definitive. She does it. She goes with a circumcised. She doesn't go with an uncircumcised. But Ogloff.com.
It's a personal choice.
And it's usually very, very fun. Like, sometimes it's not dirty at all. It's just funny.
Yeah.
And, like, there's these dwarves who are constantly making, like, essentially one dick joke after. They're like, we're going to make the helm of getting laid. I mean, it's silly, but it's dirty, and sometimes it's smart and it's dirty, and sometimes it's dumb and it's not dirty. But it's always funny, and it's always great. And
Sounds great.
yeah, at Ogloff.com. And have you ever read Rex Libris?
I haven't.
Rex Libris is about a librarian who gets library books back from people intergalactically.
Oh, cool.
So he's the James Bond of, and they are great. I tried to read something else. I just bought and ordered a couple other of his books.
Okay.
And it wasn't as good. Sorry, I hope you're not listening. But Rex Libris is amazing, and there's 2 volumes. And I even bought, I got for free actually a statue, the Rex Libris, where he's standing on a monsters.
Nice.
And he's got his gun, and it's just hilarious. I mean, it's a great. I'll put it in the notes.
Sounds tough.
Yeah, you can read that as you're taking your boring online classes for your library degree.
Yeah. I just got into library school.
Library science.
Don't even pretend that's not sexy.
It's pretty sexy.
I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again for full effect. Hey, girl. What's up? I'm in library school. Come with me and learn about the magic of books.
They still teaching that Dewey Decimal System?
Hell yeah, girl.
All right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Library of Congress classification.
That's it. I enjoy a library, but I do get that it's a place for the homeless and it's a place for the disenfranchised.
We're a pretty small town, so we get the really weird.
What's the name of the town?
Carrollton, Georgia.
Carrollton, Georgia.
We say dangerously close to Alabama, although I do love my Alabama family.
I've been to Charlottesville, which I think had a one-nighter I did in a live Dork Forest, and then I've been here.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine lived in Savannah for a while.
Oh, Savannah's a great town.
Yeah.
It's like living inside somebody's mouth.
Yes,
it's moist.
Very
moist.
moist.
It is very humid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then
lots of cemeteries.
I've done a lot of Mississippi and Arkansas in the last couple of years because my husband's family's all from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So everybody gets cable. It's fine. People are like, I swear to God, the first time I went to Mississippi, every single person said, "Is it like what you thought it'd be?" And I'm like, okay, you have had bad pub. I get it. But you seem to be able to read. And you got both thumbs. It's all working out.
Yeah, Georgia gives the same. One thing about being a total history nerd is that everybody expects me to do something about the Civil War.
Right. It's been covered?
No, I'm done. I haven't covered it on the podcast because I don't want to. You can't escape it growing up in the South.
Right.
My high school was built outside of the town of Dallas, Georgia, where there was a battle on the campaign to Atlanta, and we had some trenches that the Confederate Army built, and there was a marker right outside our high school. So we could, every day, I had friends that were like Civil War reenactors. My uncle is part of the Sons of the Confederacy out in New Mexico, and
New Mexico.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's stuff out in New Mexico.
West. Yeah. You get a lot of
but it's they're like
it's because they miss it. That's what it is. You're not dipped. So you got to recreate it somewhere in the middle of New Mexico.
Yes.
It's about 100% libertarian out there, so
and the
I
libertarian,
really love the idea.
I hope they're not listening, but hi.
And my problem with libertarians is that they're it's gotten to this point where you're not a libertarian, you're actually an anarchist, and you're like, okay, calm down. We all want plumbing and roads, and
these are good things.
These are good things. That's why we had them. I don't know.
No.
Are you familiar with the works of Thomas Hobbes?
A little bit.
And John Locke? Do you like those guys? Do you do British history?
Oh, good Lord, yes. I took 1.5 years in college straight, like 3 semesters, with the same professor of British history, and then in graduate school I went back to the same place and took
So do you have a master's or PhD?
I have a master's degree in social studies education, but I'm about to go back again to good old Georgia State online.
Right.
And get another one because teaching ain't working.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But yeah, lots and lots of British history knowledge.
You're also done with the Brits?
I'm kind of getting obsessed. Right now I'm obsessed with the Jazz Age, and I'm getting towards the Middle East. I'm kind of starting to pick up some stuff on the Middle East.
What'd you say before the Middle East? The Jazz Age?
The Jazz Age.
Okay, so like literally...
Like I did...
The Mississippi River Jazz Age. Like black people in the 20s. Jelly Roll, Morton, and
I'm looking at some of that stuff right now. I'm kind of enjoying the destruction caused by drinking too much of like the Fitzgeralds and the Hemingways, and I'm actually interested in their wives because they had a horrible.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about like
Lost Generation.
The Lost Generation. So Jazz Age, Lost Generation. Yeah.
Go.
I love, there's a great biography.
What are you doing?
Oh gosh, I just finished actually a historical fiction book called Z, but it's about about Zelda Fitzgerald.
Okay.
And who's from Alabama. And, from her perspective, and everybody views her as this crazy, you destroyed, Scott Fitzgerald and blah, 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 and you were in and out of insane asylums and stuff, but she's, the person did her research, and she's just, you feel bad for her. It's this woman who just really wants to do her own thing in life, and it's the 20s and 30s, so women still can't really do a whole bunch of their own things, and she's frustrated, and her husband's crazy, and...
He was very controlling, wasn't he?
He was. Fitzgerald is a controlling ass. And so is Hemingway. I've read about Hadley Richardson, Hemingway, his first wife, who is amazing, and... he was an ass to her and like slept with her best friend and married her, and it was crazy.
Where was she from? What was her deal?
Hadley was from St. Louis, actually. And she was a talented pianist. Said that with a straight face. I'm happy about that.
Why is that?
Because you teach middle school and high school and you say pianist. And,
sounds like penis.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So, what you guys are really dorks about are penises. Is that what I'm getting?
Mostly,
No.
Yeah. This is good.
Yeah, that's the point. But like, I just also read a nonfiction book called The Girls of Atomic City, and that's our most recent podcast was about the town of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And I actually lived in Oak Ridge when I was a kid, and I lived in that area for about, I think, 8 years until I moved down to Georgia. And the town helped build the atomic bomb. It didn't technically exist on a map until after the bomb was dropped, like literally the day after the bomb was dropped. Everybody's like, there's this town in Tennessee.
Okay, because it was all classified?
It was completely classified. Families lived there.
Were they all military families?
No. It was mostly a civilian workforce.
Okay.
That were built, like, making this material. They weren't necessarily, like, hands-on with the material, but they had no idea what they were making until the bomb dropped. And
What were they
holy
making?
crap. They were making the not the raw material, but the actual radioactive material that caused the bomb to be radioactive, I guess, is exactly
so they were working with, like, the uranium or something?
Yeah, the uranium and the plutonium, and they did, it was one of the places that did the first, like, some of the early testing of plutonium on humans. There was this poor guy talked about it.
Oh, I'm sure as they were building it, they were doing some early testing of plutonium.
They did a direct experiment on this poor guy. Oh my god. But here's one thing I love about history, just before I get into the story. I'm always telling the weird, creepy history stuff. I don't know why. I'm just obsessed with that kind of stuff. That's what sticks in my head. And so, of course, this story stuck in my head. This poor guy, Ebb, who was was working at one of the plants, K-25 plant, was in a car accident and with his buddies, and they all survived, but he stayed in the hospital. He had both of his legs broken. Well, the doctors didn't set his legs for like 3 months, and they started these injections called 49, and it was plutonium. So they started injecting the poor guy with plutonium for months before.
Who was he?
This worker, this African-American worker in Oak Ridge, who had gotten into a car wreck.
Who had gotten in a car wreck?
Yeah.
Outside of Oak Ridge? And
inside of Oak Ridge.
He was from Oak Ridge.
He was from Macon, he had come to Oak Ridge to work.
And were most of the people who worked in these this city black?
No, it was a good
it was a mix.
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't set his legs for 3 months so that he couldn't move, essentially?
I think they wanted to probably that, and
just to hobble him,
and also they wanted to see the effects that plutonium had on his bones. They got it from Los Alamos.
Okay, and they thought it might somehow magically fix them.
They took teeth from him. They took like tissue samples, and they
was there litigation at some point where this guy was like, "Hey, could my grandchildren at the very
not for a long time."
He didn't really have a chance.
Yeah.
Did he die very quickly?
Well, they set his legs in like in August of 1945. So for months he didn't have his legs. So they had to re-break his legs pretty much to reset them. Mm-hmm. And they were about to go take another sample of him, and he was gone. Just didn't know where he went.
Right.
There's 2 official stories. One was that he was discharged. One is he got up and walked out.
Right.
No one will say for sure. And
is there a third one where they killed him?
Well, what is known is that he does turn up in a cemetery in Greensboro, North Carolina, about 8 years later, I think it was.
Okay.
We don't know what his life was like, but if his official death date is like they're in like 1952. His official death date is, but
if Dr. Mengele let him leave, yes. So hopefully he had 8 years of something.
But like they did this between 1945 and 1947 to like 18 people around the country.
In other cities and other places?
Yeah, like some in Chicago and some in like at Columbia, I think. It's official. It's public knowledge now. They had to release it, but they did thousands of experiments between like 1945 and 1974 on people.
Okay.
And I think like President Clinton in the mid-90s
officially apologized.
There was the official apology kind of thing. Sure. But like you were telling me that you read, they also would inject pregnant women with plutonium to see how fast it got to the womb.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Charming.
Charming.
I hope they were doing it on Native Americans.
Yeah, seriously.
Good Lord.
They would give it to them as a health supplement.
Yeah. They wouldn't tell them.
And they didn't tell them.
And most of these people did not know, like almost everybody did not know it was plutonium.
Right.
That they were being given.
Yeah. In the hopes to create Superman.
Yeah, so
they were like,
that's the creepy, weird stuff. Like that's the stuff I remember from like college classes.
You got another one?
Gosh.
What else do you like? Anything happened in the 20s that you like? Since you're so interested in the 20s right now? Who killed themselves with booze?
God. So
besides a million and a billion people over the course of history. What was Caligula like?
Oh, gosh.
He enjoyed grapes. Because I was going to study, I was going to be a classics major in college until I realized I was going to have to take ancient Greek. And then I decided that I didn't want to be a classics major. And then they said, you have to pick a major. And so I said, well, what's it looking like? and the guy said, well, you have one more credit in poli-sci than you do in history. Huh? So I said, well, then I will be a poli-sci major. Okay. I am one credit closer to getting a degree. That's a win.
Oh, you just made me think of one.
Good.
My favorite story about Andrew Jackson.
Okay.
You live in Tennessee as a kid.
The Trail of Tears?
Well, no, it's a non-Trail of Tears thing.
It's a
no.
uplifting.
No, that's one that you love to depress 8th graders with when you talk about the Trail of Tears.
It's nice. And is it the duel?
Yeah, the duel story. I love the duel story. When I introduce Andrew Jackson to students, I always tell this story because I had a professor tell me this story. Andrew Jackson, and this is how I remember the story. Andrew Jackson got into a duel. Andrew Jackson was a son of a bitch who just loved to fight people pretty much. He's like, you looked at me wrong, let's shoot each other.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he became president.
Yeah. He's essentially like okay.
Yeah, but like, he got into this duel, and the guy shot him. And he shot him in like the shoulder or something. I can't remember exactly. They shot him in the shoulder and missed him. So Andrew Jackson gets to have a turn. That's how duels work. You
Right,
get to have
everybody gets a turn.
Yes. If you don't
supposed to do
die,
it at the same time.
you both shoot.
But if you let the person shoot, you then have to get the rest of your life ahead of you.
Like,
I read a historical romance novel that had dueling.
Well, it's the rules of the rules of dueling are so stupid because it's like, oh, I didn't kill the guy. Crap. Now I have to.
Now I have to stand here and wait.
Shake hands and just sort of.
Yeah.
I guess I just feel he's going to take a beat on me. He's going to really.
So Jackson, who's a judge in this area, mind you, he's like this county judge, goes over to the guy. He doesn't even shoot the man. He just takes his cane and starts beating the holy shit out of this poor fellow.
Instead of taking his shot, he beat the hell out of him.
Yes. Yes.
I don't believe I've heard this version. That's an amazing version.
He beat the crap out of him. Like,
well, he had lots of duels, though, right? Didn't he have more than one?
Has so many bullets in his body that he.
Right.
If somebody had put a magnitude in it, Oops. Sorry.
That's right. No worries.
I'm clumsy.
You're gesturing.
Yes.
You're excited.
I am.
Yes.
But yeah, and that's the kind of person that when he becomes president, of course he's going to do crap like the Trail of Tears, and when South Carolina threatens to secede back in the 1830s, he's going to go, I'm coming down there if you guys secede.
Right.
He threatened.
He was the first one they were the first ones to say that they would secede.
South Carolina crazy.
Yeah, and then South Carolina. Hi, South Carolina.
South Carolina crazy in the past.
Right. I'm sure you're lovely people now, except for in Myrtle Beach. Those guys are on there. It's a great place to get fudge and kites. And
taffy.
Not a book, sadly. Taffy, saltwater taffy. Right?
Yeah.
Shellfish poisoning.
Shellfish poisoning?
Yeah.
Did you? Well, because I'm from Wisconsin. There's crazy everywhere. We have lots of serial killers, and then we have Paul Ryan.
The whole Midwest is big on the serial killer thing.
Somebody it was Ginny Garofalo telling me that the Pacific Northwest was full of serial killers, and I didn't want to be a buzzkill and go, yeah, I think it's 1% of population everywhere. Yeah. Because there's serial killers, because I had a couple of true crime episodes, and she was talking about how California has a lot of serial killers. Huh. And then, I'm sure there's, wherever people gather, there's going to be one.
Somebody there to kill them.
Yes, they will import somebody to kill them. Jeffrey Dahmer. And
there's a quota.
Yes. Yeah. I actually haven't heard of any in Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota for so
Surprisingly.
Surprisingly, what they have is bossy Magoo ladies. They have
and then soft-spoken men who wear red shoes from Lake Wobegon. I love Garrison Keillor.
Oh, really? Does he wear red shoes?
Yeah.
Do you know that Andy Ashcraft always wears red shoes?
Huh.
My husband.
Huh.
Yes. Nice fella.
Yeah.
Will always wear a red shoe.
Nice.
And interesting. Garrison Keillor wears? Do you love Lake Wobegon?
I have been listening to Prairie Home Companion since I was 3. 1985, my parents driving me and my then 1-year-old sister around trying to get us to fall asleep.
It's like listening to Fish.
Yeah,
I have a hard time. It's very soothing.
I love it. I love it.
All right. I'd rather watch golf. It's maybe because but people love, I knew.
It's fun if you go to the live show.
I bet.
Oh, it's so much fun.
There's always live music, right, on his show, and then there's comedy. Right?
Yeah,
and then
it's fun watching them all do the voices.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the movie that Robert Altman did, it's pretty much just like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Except people realize they're playing fictional characters.
Yes.
That's the main difference.
Right. But have you guys heard that podcast, Thrilling Adventure Hour?
Yes, I love that podcast.
I saw one of those live, and it blew my mind.
Cool.
You'd think I'd go again. But I can't have my mind blown more than once.
Yes,
turns out.
yes.
I've only read one John Irving novel. So.
Hey, you only see Memento once, too. So. My students keep asking. I teach psychology, and my students keep going, can we watch Memento? Because we've already seen it this year, but can we watch Memento? And I'm like, no. I haven't seen it in 8 years. I'm good.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
I don't want to ruin it.
So, you like historical. I enjoy historical fiction myself.
Oh, good Lord. I like pointing out the mistakes.
Oh, see, that's why the only historical, I read romance novels occasionally.
Yeah. Oh, those are fun to watch.
Right, but I only like to read historical romance novels in countries I know nothing about the history. Because if I know about the history, I'm just no research.
My sister loves the Outlander series.
What's that? Who wrote? Oh, somebody else was
Diana
telling me about
Gabaldon. She loves those books. I got about halfway through them.
And where are they set?
at first Scotland, and then they come to the States.
Oh, right.
In the colonies.
Right. Yeah. So I can do Scottish history because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And you can make up whatever you want about Scotland. It turns out.
Yeah.
Did you ever read a Louis L'Amour book called The Walking Drum?
No.
You might enjoy that since you enjoy the Middle East, because it starts in the British Isles, in the Middle Ages, and then it goes through Northern Africa, and then to China.
Nice.
The Walking Drum.
The Walking Drum.
Louis L'Amour.
I thought he just wrote
Westerns?
Westerns.
He also writes. I've read all of them.
My grandfather was totally into his books.
I am my own grandpa. The only ones I couldn't read were short stories. And I tried to read Zane Grey, but because he mostly just wants to describe the sagebrush. He doesn't do a lot of character work. And that's what because historical novels, they really, if they're well written,
if they're well written,
they bring history alive.
Yeah, like I love Phillipa Gregory, and
I've seen her name.
She wrote The Other Boleyn Girl, which is more,
that's British
trashy.
and
it's The Tudors.
The Tudors.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little more trashy. But some of her later books afterwards, like she currently has a series out about the War of the Roses.
Okay.
And it's all about like the women of it, and it's not pure romance novel. There's some romance stuff in it, but it can be very well written. I also
and the history's good?
Yeah, she does a lot of research. She actually participated in a book of essays about some of these women that she wrote about.
Okay.
Doing historical research. One book one author though I'm really just in love with for historical fiction is Alison Wier, because she just started doing historical fiction in like the last 5-6 years.
How do you spell Weir?
Weir.
Okay.
But she started out as a historian. She has a lot of books about history. Yes.
As a historian, and then she was like, let's do this.
She's a British history historian,
right.
Going back a long time to like
right.
the Tudors, and she's really good, so she knows all her stuff. Mm-hmm. So
what are your favorite, do you have a book that you reread a lot? Hey, the maid's going by.
Yes.
That'll be great.
I am currently on my 5th time reading actually a historical fiction book, The Paris Wife by Paula McLean, which is about Hemingway's first wife.
Okay.
Which got me into the other stuff. It's a great book, and I read it so many times. It's a great book. And
okay.
It's
do you mostly read women authors?
I like a lot of women authors.
That's great.
I just remember, I think it comes from my mom, who, I'm the oldest of 3 girls.
Okay.
So that helped. But my mom, I remember my sister and I were getting into boy bands too much, like when I was in middle school. And we had them up on our door, and my mom was like, please, can you start listening to like Sarah McLachlan or Meredith Brooks or any of those people, Alanis Morissette? Wow. I will let you. My mom bought me Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill when I was 13 on cassette.
Because you're just not depressed enough when you're 13.
But my mom was
could you also read a separate piece? Oh my God.
But my mom was like, just quit listening to this boy band stuff. Listen to real music.
Right. Is Tori Amos at work somewhere?
Honestly, I never listened to her when I was growing up.
All right.
I missed out. I think I missed out on that. My mom's born in the late 50s and I was born in the early 80s, so I kind of was in between.
Right.
Yeah, but like, my mom was just completely... And I remember my dad reading the liner notes for Jagged Little Pill, and I'm just turned 13, and he sees the language in it, and he's like, Pam, you can't let Sarah listen to this. And then my mom's like, she's listening to it.
It'll be fun.
Because, he's supposed to be like, no, it's your daughter, you can't listen to that kind of stuff.
Right, and if you're the oldest, he was trying to do everything right. It gets very bossy.
My 17-year-old sister has made it through. She's about to graduate from high school and is already going, I've done better than you.
Well, I'm sure.
It's like, okay, Maggie, God.
Right. It'll be nice when she's 18, and then doesn't have to prove anything. No. I'm the youngest of 6. My parents could give a damn. They're like, brace yourself. I hope it all works out for you. How about you, Will? You got siblings?
I do. I have one younger sibling, Amy.
Okay, one boy, one girl. That's nice.
Yes, that worked out well. She's very pregnant right now.
She's having a baby.
She's due on May 28th.
Oh, very nice.
I will become an uncle.
Will she have a human baby? What kind of baby do they know?
Face hugger.
Facehugger? What is that?
The alien thing.
I don't know that. What is that reference?
He's a guy.
You know, that's the thing
Oh, yeah.
that implants the aliens, and it like comes out.
Oh, from the Alien movies?
Yeah. Mhm.
Too scary.
Yeah.
Too scary, those movies.
They're pretty intense.
They're pretty intense.
The third one was just
I
shy.
barely made it through
was it?
Prometheus. So.
Prometheus?
I thought Prometheus was good.
I know you.
I mean, it had lots of flaws.
Did you see Cabin in the Woods?
Cabin in the Woods? Yes. Like I have strong opinions about Cabin in the Woods.
Please express them.
Joss Whedon's really, really bad about this. It's occasionally just way too precious. Like it's like you can just he throws off these lines or something, and you can just imagine him like fapping to his own cleverness. Like at that moment.
He's too clever for his own good.
Cabin in the Woods just really like drew attention to that aspect of Whedon's work.
Because he was just
really
allowed to go without any sort of editing.
Yeah,
because
and
it was just
that twist about the scientists. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but he just hammered it into the ground. Okay, we get it. You know,
all right.
Somebody's pulling the strings.
Meanwhile, he loves the Avengers movie. So
no, that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Avengers movie.
No, we saw that because
well
we saw that for our anniversary last year. So yeah, we were like,
let's watch it now.
That's what
Super
we
romantic.
Let's watch it over.
We should put it on
Yeah,
television.
that's our thing. We'll go because apparently all the superhero movies come out like the Friday before our anniversary because we were married on Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
And we have to go see superhero movies. Like
it turns out Iron Man 3 comes out this evening.
I know. I'm excited.
So
well timed.
The day before we get married, let's spend our last night as an unmarried couple going to the midnight showing of Spider-Man 3.
Oh, okay.
That turned out to be a terrible
decision.
Which one was that?
It was the one with 20 minutes of Tobey Maguire crying and jazz tapping.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
There's
movies that I haven't seen that I feel blessed that I never saw. Yeah. Godfather 3.
I still haven't finished that one.
That was awful.
Spider-Man 3, the third prequel to the Star Wars series, which I understand.
He fell asleep.
That was actually the better of the three. And
he fell asleep watching
in the middle of the movie.
That's what I hear. I hear it's the best of the early ones. Yeah. So,
which is not saying a whole lot.
Right, because they were terrible.
Yes.
And so a couple episodes ago we were talking about the new reboot with J.J. Abrams because
he's just doing all the things right now, like sci-fi.
And they give him to everybody. Just like one guy, one guy.
I like who's writing the new Star Wars movie though. I like Michael Arndt. He wrote Toy Story 3. He wrote Little Miss Sunshine.
Okay, so it might be a little precious as well.
It might be a little clever. It could be good. I'm hoping.
Be a little twee.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And I like what else? You have an EP on SoundCloud, Will?
Just some home recordings.
Yeah.
Old recordings that your
home. Yeah, he
home
records at home.
Yeah, it started in January over the holiday break, and just occasionally put
concertina. What do you play?
The harpsichord.
Really?
Harpsichord master. No.
I was like, that would have felt so bad.
I can never tell. Like I've been with him for almost 10 years, married for about 6, and I still can't tell if he's joking or not.
I play the pan flute.
Are you Zanfir?
Yes, I'm actually that man. Yeah.
You are the.
He did not die.
Did you know that the largest statue of Athena is in the built-to-scale replica of the Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee?
Oh, I've been there as a kid.
Did not know that.
Lots of field trips to the Parthenon.
I have never been in it. I have only once run around it at 3 a.m. the only time I've ever been in Nashville. I was like, I have to see it. Because I heard about it in Latin class.
A lot of Lebanese people in Nashville, actually.
Then you can get good fatou.
Yes, my parents both went to the Middle Tennessee State, south of Nashville in Murfreesboro, and my southern accent's coming out. Murfreesboro. And my mother worked for a Lebanese restaurant that actually also served Italian food. Were called Armando's, but it was run by a Lebanese family, and lots of great food there. And there's a town called Lebanon, but we say Lebanon.
Right.
Tennessee.
There's a town called New Berlin in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I come from a town called Bremen. Not Bremen.
Not Bremen.
It's Bremen.
South of Buckhannon.
Down there you say Bremen.
Down there you say Bremen.
Which is adjacent to the town of not Buchanan but Buckhannon.
And next to the town of Tallapoosa. Which used to be called Possumstown.
All right.
My parents live there.
Classy.
You can hear the dogs barking in Alabama.
What about Lebanon?
Lebanon, it has cedar trees.
Okay.
That's all I know about it. My dad grew up outside of Lebanon in Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
And had one story after another about the cedar trees?
Yeah. He's like, you didn't go to Lebanon.
Sit down, let me tell you about this cedar tree.
This thing used to be like 3 feet tall when we bought it. Look at it now. Look at that. Right up there in the sky.
Did you know that it's green all year long?
My mom and dad actually had stories about Nashville people, like musicians.
Okay.
Yeah, my great-grandmother, my mom's side, was Dolly Parton's seamstress in the early 60s, late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
When she was on Porter Wagoner. And she's like, sweetest girl, did not need that wig, and yes, they're real.
All right. They aren't, and she needed the wig. But that's fine. But what do you sing? What do you sing? What's the link for the SoundCloud?
I do it under the band name of Oh the Children.
Oh the Children.
So if you go to SoundCloud and search that, then that's what
if you type in SoundCloud Oh the Children.
Or you could go to Google if you want to, or Alta Vista. You know, it's your choice.
What I will do is I'll put it in the notes on dorkforest.com.
Sure,
that'll be linkable.
Awesome.
How many songs?
Right now 6.
6?
I don't have a lot of time on my hands, and I'm still sort of learning the ropes of engineering and stuff like that.
They sound great, though.
All right.
They sound great.
Somebody's a fan. And what is it, guitar rock? What are we looking at?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a band called the Constellations?
Yes.
They're from Atlanta.
Yes.
And I bought both of their albums, or 2 of them, because they came up in a Pandora rotation.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I like them too. Yeah, I love. God, there's so much talent out of the Atlanta scene. Deer Hunter is just.
It's a good band.
Out of its world. Yeah.
Guitar rock as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. And you got the old stuff. That, like REM and all those people.
Yeah, and the Athens scene, the
Indigo
Elephant
Girls?
Six Collective.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, Indigo Girls.
And the Girls, B-52s, and then you got the whole Elephant Six thing, Neutral Milk Hotel, and the
Elephant Six?
Elephant Six Collective, these bands of Montreal, Neutral Milk Hotel, Elf Power.
Wait, is Of Montreal from here?
Yes.
They are.
I bought that. I own one album of
Which
many
one?
popular bands. I don't know.
Oh,
I can show you my iPod Touch. My old tiny iPod Touch after that.
I have to say, you should go see a show of theirs because it is crazy awesome. Yeah.
To see them live?
Yeah. Like, they sold a song to Outback just so they could have a crazy concert tour. It was great. There was he was in a giant wedding dress, and it's great music, though.
Cool.
Yeah. We've seen him a couple times.
Lots of dramatics.
Yeah.
Andy told me he's going to play a game this weekend with a guy who's made up a game called Dungeons and Drag Queens. And
that's awesome.
He's like, I need to play that. I need to play whatever that is.
That is awesome.
Yes, and so you go, Andy Ashcraft, and play Dungeons and Drag Queens, and then you tell me about it.
Hey, new thing at Dragon Con probably this year.
Oh right, I do. I want to do Dragon Con.
We have friends we've never been able to go. Right. But I know it's a huge thing. Like, the parade is just such a big deal. Go, I mean...
Is it a parade outside of the convention center?
Yeah. Yeah, go...
And is Dragon Con in the convention center, or is it that big?
I think they're moving it to the... This is the first year I think they're going to the convention center, maybe? Or the Civic Center. They used to do it in hotels around here.
Spanned a couple of hotels.
Yeah, and it's just gotten too big.
Right.
But it's a giant party. I have friends that go there. There's a lot of weird stuff. I have a friend from high school that takes pictures for Dragon Con.
Bit of a party con, is it?
It's a huge party con. Like, I've heard stories, like crazy stories from Dragon Con. So
I've only been to a couple of them so far, but what the most impressive thing are those costumes.
Yeah.
There's some serious costume work going down.
I have a cousin that goes to a smaller one called MomoCon, and he's constantly just gets really dressed up as some anime character. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm going to Anime Con in Dallas at the end of May, and that I'm hoping to see, I don't know, a Zelda. But which probably is super tame compared to what I'm actually going to see.
Well, you see a lot of different things, and I know I see a lot of Venture Brothers stuff at Dragon Con pictures because
Dr. Girlfriend.
Yes, because
new episode's coming out.
I'm excited.
Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we got rid of cable a year and a half ago, and I'm almost tempted to get it again just for. Because I was like, and I actually said this to Andy. I said, new Venture Brothers coming out, and there was this pause, and he goes, "Yeah, but we don't have that channel." I was like, do you want me to get the cable again? He was like, no, we don't watch it enough to get it. To spend, $50 a month to get Venture because we genuinely never turn the damn thing on.
We just happen to get cable through our apartment. That's it.
Comes with a
otherwise
we
not. We live right beside the college. Pretty much. So,
nice.
So it came with rent, but we're pretty much on, Netflix and Hulu and Amazon.
We do not have BBC America.
That
is
what makes me sad.
To no end.
What do you want to watch on BBC America?
Doctor Who.
And the Nerdist.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Nerdist, and he got a late-night TV show, I hear,
he did.
on Comedy Central.
He's going to be following Colbert, I think.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
It's going to be a strange transition.
It's going to be late.
Yeah, midnight,
I'll catch it on the rerun.
It turns out it'll show the next morning at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Because it'll be 9:30, 10, 10:30, and it'll be Jon Stewart, Colbert, and then Chris Hardwick.
That's cool. But we love Doctor Who. I got TARDIS nails.
Did you, have you...
TARDIS blue with sparkles to represent space, because I'm a nerd.
Oh,
the woman, I didn't tell it to the poor Vietnamese lady doing my nails.
She probably wouldn't have done that. I don't know, she might have been a big Doctor Who fan.
And I was like, yeah, sparkles. Okay.
They are good sports, the ladies who do nails. They're just like, I could give a damn.
Yeah.
In other news, I'm going to go get a sandwich. I mean, genuinely, they're just cranking out the nails. It's one of my favorite things in Los Angeles because you can get super cheap nails.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why they're all Vietnamese. But I suppose, everybody comes and makes pierogies, and those people are all Polish.
Yeah.
So it's first generation whatever. And it's a deal.
Yeah.
So, I have watched the first 5 episodes of the reboot of the first season of Doctor Who.
We're into the reboots.
Keep going.
Keep going. Please.
I can go back and like that first season a lot better now.
Because of?
Just because I've seen more of it. But it started out really campy, and it still is, but it's more fun campy. It's not as...
Is it... because it's pretty campy. There was one I saw where the last human was a stretch lady with just a talking...
Keep going.
Yeah, she does not return. Well, she comes back for one episode.
I think it's in the past.
That's one of those villains.
Because they can travel everywhere. Yeah, we really love...
Let's not revisit that.
Yeah, we really love David Tennant and the current one, Matt Smith.
So, I don't know any
10 and 11.
10 and... I don't know what... I'm on what I consider to be 1.
You're on 9.
Am I on 9?
That's 9.
Okay, and what are we on now?
They're on 11 right now.
Okay, so 9... So I'm on 9.
Yes. 9's only there for a year.
Oh.
And then he's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
And he's done.
He quits.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 10 comes in. That's David Tennant.
Do they get a new sidekick every time they reboot the...
No, not necessarily.
They sort of stagger it.
Yeah, they stagger it.
So she's around for...
She'll be around for another season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and is it the sort of... Who's the skinny young guy who's kind of irritating?
Matt Smith.
Okay.
Are you talking about
the current one?
I don't...
Guy?
Oh, we accidentally watched something out of order, so it was a dark-haired skinny dude, and they were on a farm. They were supposed to be going to Rio, and they ended up on a farm where some mole people lived in the earth.
That's Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've seen the first 5 of, I guess, the number 9.
The bald one.
And, is he bald?
Is he the kind of bald?
I'm also on season 2 of Fringe.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm slightly behind in my television.
I haven't started Fringe, so
we actually watched part of the first season and we got bored. Because
it had some growing pains in the first season.
Right, and as I suppose everything does. Yeah. Like, if I can get over the hump on the Doctor Who, I'm sure I'm on board.
I love Sherlock.
Oh, I've seen all the Sherlock.
That is such an amazing show.
I've seen
That's
all
the
the
same
Sherlock
guy
twice.
that does the current...
We own the Sherlock.
Yeah, Sherlock is the same guy who does the current Doctor Who. The current seasons with the new Doctor.
Cumberbund?
No,
Benedict?
Stephen Cumberbatch. That's Sherlock, but Stephen Moffat.
Yeah,
who does
right.
the writer.
And Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of that?
No.
That's Netflix streaming as well. I saw the first few
I saw
episodes
that
of that.
Gotta get on that. Yeah.
And I've also seen Prime Evil. Ooh. Have you seen Prime Evil?
No.
You saw part of it?
No, wait, I'm totally thinking about a different show. Never mind.
It's a Scooby Doo. Portals open up and dinosaurs come through.
Yeah,
Nice.
And there's our Scooby Doo, a band of intrepid professors have to go stop it.
Oh,
Doesn't make any sense. So I've seen the first 2 seasons of that. I think there's only 3.
right.
And it is.
And they're
dumb,
like 6 episodes.
And I love them all.
Yeah.
They're super dumb.
I love Sherlock so much. I grew up watching like the old Sherlock Holmes shows from like the 80s and with Jeremy Brett. That's my Sherlock Holmes.
Is that BBC?
It was like BBC and it showed on like PBS, so
Right.
we'd watch it Sunday nights when it'd come on and then I'd have to go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
But my parents, I knew my parents really loved Sherlock Holmes stories and movies and the shows.
Your parents sound like mine, where they were constantly making me listen to NPR and PBS.
That's my parents.
And they're like, is Nova on? And you're like, probably.
Well, like,
getting super excited about no.
while my friends are watching Dawson's Creek when I'm in high school, I'm watching Roseanne and going, I have no idea what this teenage crap is.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, I know all about Roseanne, and I was
Murphy Brown? Were you watching some Murphy Brown?
Yeah,
I was that little kid that probably shouldn't have been watching The Simpsons, but I started watching The Simpsons when it came out.
Sure. I was on Murphy Brown, you know.
Cool.
I played an airport cop because this says airport cop to all of.
Awesome.
Yeah, I will be an airport cop in a dramedy. I will be an airport cop in a mystery. I'll be an airport cop in a sitcom. I'll do whatever you want. I busted Jim Dial with that bag of pot. I was the last season.
Awesome.
Pretty glamorous. Yeah.
I'm an extra.
Residuals from Germany.
Completely improvised too. Total pothead, actually. So you know.
Yeah, I was. No, I didn't. I was very scripted, and I didn't know what I was doing. But the guy who played Jim Dial, who I tell this story, I should find out that man's name again because I keep forgetting. But he was so nice to me because I had never acted in anything, and a woman I knew got me. She was the executive producer, and she was like, "Oh, you just moved to LA? I give people I think are funny one opportunity that I, by the way, squandered." She got me this thing, which got me into SAG, the union.
Yeah.
So I did my line, and the director comes over to me and he's like, "Hi, yeah, that was great. I couldn't see you. You're cheating too far that way. You need to hit your mark and do this." And I was like, I don't know what those words mean. and so the guy who played Jim Dial came over and he said, "Oh, I think I was blocking her." And the director just looked at him and walked away and he goes, "That's your mark. Turn a little bit that way and just talk. You're good." And I was like, "You were the nicest man in the world."
Yeah, it's really nice.
It was super nice. He didn't need to do it at all. And I appreciate him.
I'm an extra to Remember the Titans.
It's really irritating, the whole process. I was in on this goofy documentary shoot.
Documentary, quote unquote.
I had through a friend. I had a connection to a prominent parapsychologist
out of West Georgia, University of West Georgia.
Yeah, out of
so Ghosty
university where I work.
Yeah,
and he investigated ghosts.
Okay,
and so he had investigated this case down in Columbus, where this girl reported like possession and all sorts of strange phenomena. And so I went down there with them to do the reenactments of all the stuff that he did the first time he went to investigate. I mean, I wasn't there when he did it, of course, but I stood in.
How many times did you guys have to drive into the driveway?
Yeah, stuff like that, like the fake drive-ups and fake walking to the door and saying hello to people.
Well, you got to get the different angles.
Hands.
I mean, you get a glimpse into how it's done and stuff.
Yeah.
So were there any ghosts? Did you get to see?
There was one incident. There was the one incident where we were standing in the bedroom where supposedly all this supernatural activity had taken place. And we were just like, we had Dr. Roll, the parapsychologist, he was going a mile a minute. He wanted to actually do more ghost research while we were filming this thing.
As long as we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
What's his name?
Dr. William Roll. He just passed away last year. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Roll.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're standing around in this haunted room. And we've got our magnetometers in our hands, and we're taking all these readings.
I am supportive.
Yeah,
safe space. Magnetometer.
Course,
go.
Yeah, the magnetic fields are fine.
Okay. They're unmoved.
They are, yes. And then we hear this scratching. We just sort of look at each other. And it's scratch. It seems to be coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. It's really, and the atmosphere is kind of charged. They'd been running the smoke machine all day.
Okay, that might be the soundbite. They've been running this. What?
If you watch it, there's
we stood there and we heard the scratch, and we were like, you know what? This is probably bunk, but we're gonna get the hell out of here. And so we left the house just to go out and hang out, have a smoke, and we went to the next door neighbor's house where some of the other family lived, and we were like, yeah, something really weird happened. We were in this room and we just heard this scratching. It was strange. And he was like, yep, squirrels like to get up there and then pipes.
Oh, there you go. Them pipes.
But what about the bathroom?
Oh, yeah, that was really strange.
The wall start bleeding?
Me and my friend, we both had the same deja vu experience at the same time.
Oh, that is, see?
Looking into the bathroom.
And it was like transported somewhere else kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, it was a really odd
I'm having a deja vu
minute, or just a few seconds. Also we had the ionometer or scope, whatever it was, sitting on the back of the toilet, I guess.
Because that's where it goes.
Small bathrooms.
To check up on any ghost that might be taking a crap at the time. It was actually going nuts.
Okay.
While we were having this experience.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That was super weird. Yeah. I'm just going to say.
That's it. Well, the thing is I have had my friend Karen Rutowski, good friend of mine, ghost fan, paranormal believer. I had an episode with her and Jen Kirkman, who believes in UFOs.
Cool.
And in both cases of ghosts and aliens, I don't know that they don't exist. Mm-hmm. And if you believe that they exist, I support your belief in that. I believe that my father will one day be there for me. I mean, you don't know. You don't know what could happen tomorrow. So, it could, aliens for some reason are easier for me to believe in than ghosts.
Yeah.
But she believes in ghosts. They were on the show, Jen and Rontow. And she had an app for her iPhone called Ghost Radar. Mm-hmm. And she was like, because I could turn this on and you would find out, but you would be creeped out if I turned this on, right? To find out if there were ghosts. And I was like, 99-cent app? No. No, pretty sure the mystery.
It depends. How many stars did
What's the Yelp review?
Yeah.
And so, all right, you guys, we barely have scratched the surface. We should have had you on separately, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the way it always is. I had Lindy West on. She wanted to talk about girl night books. Books about, how she likes like young adult titles where there's a girl night. And then she fixes stuff. And then it turns out her boyfriend, who, there is no auditing. If you're going to sit in, you got to sit in, right? Yeah. He turns out he liked to read jazz textbooks from the 50s. Cool. And essentially it was all jazz theory. And just read about it. And I was like, are you a musician? He was like, yeah. And I said, do you play jazz? He goes, no. Do you listen to jazz? He goes, nope. Just like to read lots and lots of textbooks. So what would you recommend people read?
Definitely The Girls of Atomic City by Denise Kiernan. It came out in March.
Okay.
And she's awesome. She's following me on Twitter, which is cool too.
Oh, that is neat.
And you're following me on Twitter, which is cool too.
Sure.
And oh gosh,
you got
what
one?
else?
Do we have time to run down the monarchs?
Oh, well, sure. What are they?
Oh, my king and queen trick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is a fun game. That's a fun game.
Great party trick.
Will's going to look at the list.
Oh,
we've only got a couple of minutes here, I think. So
yeah.
Okay, because you emailed me and said
I have this weird, stupid trick
that I love to do. You could name all the monarchs from Elizabeth II going back
to about mid 900s AD
all right.
England.
Okay, so we're currently at Elizabeth II.
Yes, we're currently at Elizabeth II. Okay.
All right.
So, and he'll tell me if I'm missed how many I missed.
I'll tell you afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, just do the first 10.
Okay. All right. Elizabeth 2, George 6, Edward 8, George 5, Edward 7, Victoria, William 4, George 4, George 3, George 2, George 1, Anne, William, Mary, James 2, Charles 2, Cromwell. Oh gosh, I'm going to keep going. Charles 1, James 1, Elizabeth 1, Mary 1,
1600,
Edward 6, Henry 8, Henry 7, Richard 3,
50,
Edward
30.
5, Edward 4, Henry 6, Henry 5, Henry 4, Richard 2.
I'm lost. Richard 2. Okay,
We're
wait.
currently in the Plantagenet line.
Okay.
Edward 3, Edward 2, Edward 1.
Edward 1 was what? 1400s?
1300s.
No,
1200s.
1200s.
1200s. Okay, good.
So Edward 1, Edward 1, John, Richard, 1, or 2, 1, Richard 1, Henry 2, Matilda, Stephen, William 2, William 1. William 1. Oh my gosh. Harold. Now we're back like before
This is before the Normans. This is pre-1066.
Yeah.
Pre-1066.
Yeah. So Harold.
Who was 1066? Who was it?
William?
Richard?
William the First.
William the First
William the
was
Bastard.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And so Harold, Edward the Confessor, Hartha Canute.
The Danes.
Yeah. Hartha Canute. Oh gosh, I think Edgar, and then Canute, and then Sven, and then another Edward, and then Ethelred, and I'm done. I can't.
Okay.
After that.
I think you missed 3.
3 total?
Yeah.
Out of like 60, 70?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun game. Me and my friend Mary Skinner used to play presidents. What can you do? Can you do all the presidents as a social studies teacher from junior high?
Oh.
Who's currently the president?
Oh, Obama.
There we go. Okay. So you've already
Yeah,
begun.
I already got one. So
Who was before him?
Woodrow Wilson.
You're not playing. Okay. Because then it was George W. Right?
yeah, and then
W.
W.
yeah, then Clinton,
Then Clinton. Before Clinton.
Bush Senior,
Bush Senior.
Reagan,
Right.
Carter,
Carter.
Ford, Nixon, Johnson, Kennedy, Eisenhower, Roosevelt.
Truman.
You should not. Oh, dang it! I always forget Truman. I don't know why.
I'm fine through the 1900s.
Roosevelt, Hoover,
Coolidge, Harding, Wilson, Wilson, and Taft, Roosevelt.
Teddy?
Yeah. And I get mixed up with the late 1800s. Like I start getting
Right,
mixed up
Garfield
with those.
and
Like it's McKinley, and then I can't remember
the
who's
Harrisons and
the Cleveland. Cleveland's are two different terms, separate, and
right.
It's all craziness.
Right.
And then I'll skip all that. Grant. There we
And then
go.
you go to Grant.
Yeah.
I remember Grant. Remember
Grant.
Johnson?
Wilson, Grant.
Grant.
Johnson, Lincoln, Buchanan. Excuse me, Buchanan. Not Buchanan.
Monroe?
Monroe was way back.
Another 10 years earlier?
Buchanan, and then it's like...
Buchanan.
God dang it! I blame Georgia.
Your Southern's coming out.
It is. Polk was before Buchanan.
Oh yeah, 1848.
Yeah, because my... I have an ancestor that was his doctor. Which is kind of funny.
I had a teacher who was... What the heck was her name? She was my Latin teacher, Pierce. They changed their name. They changed the spelling of their name because they hated Franklin Pierce so much.
I have a...
That's how long her family's been in this country. We just got here. We just got off the boat.
I have a distant relative who is the longest-serving House of Representatives Speaker, Sam Rayburn, who launched Lyndon B. Johnson's career. I found that out.
All right.
It's like a cousin. I was like, so my joke to my history professors, and they got it, and they liked it, was my family is the reason Vietnam happened.
Oh, sure.
It's totally your fault.
Because my cousin got Lyndon B. Johnson into politics. So,
all right.
There you go.
I think Lyndon B. Johnson would have gotten into politics.
Yeah.
I read some biography of him, and not all of it. I'm not going to leave. I'm not even going to try to kid to you people.
No, there's some. He was a teacher. He was a likable man. Yeah. But he was. It was a very dense. I read 45 pages of a biography on Lyndon Johnson that was in the New Yorker, in the 1 year that I got the New Yorker, and I should have kept every.
Just keep coming.
We have it.
That's the thing.
We stopped
those
it.
52.
Yeah.
And then I could still be reading.
We thought we stopped our subscription, and it's still coming.
Yeah. week after week, and you're not even
It's piling
10
up.
pages into the last one, and then the next one comes, and you're like, I'm a terrible intellectual. I'm awful at this.
How about David Foster Wallace? Have you read him?
I have, yeah. I got about 400 pages into Infinite Jest.
This week's episode that's just dropped. I understand it's dense and it doesn't end with any sort of definition.
Yeah.
No,
but it's supposed to be beautifully written.
I'm sure that I'll finish it one day.
Yes.
I tried the Haruki Murakami book, 1Q84.
Oh,
it's like
I tried to read that.
It's huge.
1Q. That's a science fiction novel, right?
Yeah.
I have that on Audible, and I have not been able to get through it.
The good thing
Did he write that?
That was Haruki Murakami.
Murakami?
Yeah.
Okay.
A Japanese author.
That sounds familiar.
He's famous for his dream logic in his stories, and there's really like a lack of self-editing. He's probably got the hardest working editor in publishing.
Sure.
And I'm
That's not allowed to do anything?
Yeah. I'm fairly certain 1Q84 is some sort of practical joke on the entire literary establishment.
You've only read part 1 though. There's 3 parts.
That's true.
I've only read part 1 too.
It's huge. It's like he edited nothing.
The American version of paperback had to be put in 3 different paperbacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's so many.
Repeats
so much
things
of it.
constantly. The great thing is you can put it down for months and then go back to it. And
not worry
know
about
exactly where you've been because he will tell you exactly where you've been over and over and over again.
I listened to the Da Vinci Code one time on tape. Cassette tape, you remember?
Yes.
In my car.
At least you didn't strain your eyes on it. That would have been a waste.
I'll tell you what was a waste. I could have at least skimmed it if I was reading it. Because when you listen to it, you always think, I'm going to miss something. And he recapped every chapter at the beginning of the next chapter.
The chapters are 4 pages long.
Right, and I would say out loud in my car, we were in this together. I was just there with you. It's okay. We don't need a recap of what has just occurred.
Is it Dan Brown reading it?
Thank you, God, no.
Okay.
No, I don't know who it is.
I've never read those books.
I refuse
to.
I saw him on Good Morning America one time, and he was like, they had him on the set that was supposed to look like this huge stately library. And he was holding his new book, and I was like, oh, you intellectual, you.
I think it's one of those books that my dad just buys at the airport because he's about to take a long trip, and he knows he needs to read. My dad has stacks of like sci-fi books that are. Some of them are classic, Asimov and all that from when he was a kid. And some of it is just like...
He just burns through it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm part of my brother's Audible account because he's in his car all the time. Yeah. He's like, I buy things by how long they are. Yeah. And I was like, are you kidding me with this? Yeah. And
has a professor who is now known for that, like an old professor of his.
That's how he started off.
And he's going to be at Dragon Con this year because of the books he wrote. Airport fiction.
Who is he?
A.J. Hartley.
Oh, I've seen his name in airports. Mm-hmm. It turns out.
He actually works at the University of North Carolina for Shakespeare.
Ranger of the Dork Forest, Vanessa, in Aspen, Colorado, Austin, Texas, last week in real time, gave me 2 books by this guy, Nicholas Blake.
Huh.
And Nicholas Blake is it's not his real name, it's a spacing the word.
Pseudonym?
Yeah, pseudonym. He was the poet laureate of the UK in the 30s.
Cool.
And needed money, and so wrote some crap.
Poet laureate does not pay.
Right, so he wrote these pulp fiction, and they're mysteries. And this is the first one, A Question of Proof by Nicholas Blake. And the first half of it is him essentially whining about how he has to write a novel. He's like, well, if I, and I don't know, and I finished it, I still don't know who the narrator is, but it feels like it was Nicholas Blake, because it was just him going, well, it doesn't matter what you do, but it's incredibly well written. This was written in 1935.
Nice.
And it would be like playing catch with like an NFL football quarterback who is just like, I'll play catch with you, sure. And you're a half a block away, and he's just like, thwap. And because he literally, you can tell he's phoning this in. Yeah. But around page 140, or I don't know, whatever, about a third of the way through the book, he starts to have fun with it.
Oh.
And he is like, I like this character. And so then it becomes funny.
He's pleasantly surprised himself. Yeah.
He has pleasantly surprised himself.
Nice.
So he ended up writing like 10 books.
Wow.
And no doubt buying land and affecting change at a grassroots level.
Nice.
Anyway, I feel like I've talked a lot during this episode, so I'll come back to Atlanta, Georgia, and we will have each of you on separately. And you will dryly hold forth, Will Winchester, about the things that you enjoy, and you will animatedly hold forth, Sarah Winchester, as I do. Thank you so much for being on the show, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Take care of each other out there. Bye.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?